The community picking up the pieces again after another landslide closed Cincinnati's Columbia Parkway Friday. Heavy rains closed the thoroughfare to downtown from the city's east side until about 10 a.m. The city has pledged to spend $17 million originally allocated for a police station to fix inefficient retaining walls that are forcing earth to spill onto the road. I'm Kyle Cornell.
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio.
All right, you guys got about a minute.
Across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Kathy Cairo of Keller Williams Greater Columbus invites you to downsize Columbus.
It's that time of year, mulch and mowing, home repairs. Why are we doing this? Yes, it's time to downsize Columbus. I'm Kathy Cairo, and as a realtor, I know the downsizing move is a big one involving lots of decisions and, well, lots of stuff. And what are you going to do with all that stuff? Downsize Columbus is Central Ohio's premier downsizing seminar. Come meet experts to answer all of your downsizing questions and 30 vendors to meet your needs. Downsize Columbus is Sunday, May 5th at the Hilton at Easton. The seminar's free, but you must register. Go to downsizecolumbus.com. That's downsizecolumbus.com.
Kathy Cairo thanks Retirement Funding Solutions, a Mutual of Omaha bank, for being the corporate sponsor of Downsize Columbus. Double your purchasing power with Retirement Funding Solutions. NMLS 1025894. Register at downsizecolumbus.com.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon. Welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. That's located at 999 Bethel Road. I'm your host, Eric, along with my co-owner and father, Phil. Christopher Gadsden. Christopher Gadsden died in 1805. He was 81 years old at that time. An American general fighting for our independence from England. He was recognized he recognized that fellow Americans wanted nothing more than to be left to live a life free from conflict, focused on family and God, and free from those wanting to harm them. Amongst other things, he was a prisoner of war, a prominent merchant at the time, and a founding leader of the Sons of Liberty. You may have heard that. You may also recognize his name because of the famous Gadsden flag that is still popular today. Have you seen it? Typically bright yellow with a coiled timber rattlesnake prominently displayed in the middle, with the famous words, "Don't tread on me," sitting below. Ben Franklin wrote in December of 1775 in the Penn Journal that the snake had much symbolism to the colonies of the day. The snake stands vigilant, eyes always wide open. She never begins an attack, but once engaged, she never surrenders. Her weapons are concealed in her mouth, and for those unacquainted with her, they mistakenly believe she's defenseless, but yet prove to be so powerful if they're encountered. She never wounds until she gives ample notice to her enemies, cautioning them against the dangers of treading on her. That was 1776, but wow, so relevant today. For those enemies of freedom, those enemies of our Constitution, and those enemies of our family, she cautions you to tread lightly. Be warned by her vigilance, but know that it is guaranteed that she never surrenders. If you choose to step on her, be prepared for a battle like no other. We are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and our active law enforcement. But for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, is to always bring you the facts about our industry and ultimately help our listeners and our customers with safe, responsible ownership of firearms.
Eric, That was a very good commentary.
Excellent.
How did we know that the rattlesnake was a female?
I was thinking the same
It
thing.
was often referenced that way in the time.
Okay.
So it was how they referenced it. It was neat. It was actually fascinating to see the actual language from when Ben Franklin wrote that. It was much more to it. And it was basically a warning, and it was the symbolism. It was perfect. It's beautiful, and it still holds true today. That you know what, I'm here to live, and I won't touch or hurt anyone.
Yep.
But rest assured, if provoked, you don't want any of this.
Yeah.
You know what? I live in Clintonville, and they sway a little towards the liberal side. And believe it or not, one of my neighbors flies a "Don't Tread on Me" flag
Really?
from his porch.
Really?
Yeah.
And
it's
why
pretty
not?
Cool.
Yeah.
And this, this week has just been one of those weeks, let's just say, and one of those weeks where we sit and we have fun and we have a store and we have our nice lives, but it's just one of those times that we thought it was necessary to say that if those choose to try to come and take what we have, it's not going to be pretty.
And that ties in with what I said last week about April 19th of 1775.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
they tried to come.
That's exactly it.
Door to
Yep,
door.
yep.
Yep.
Take our stuff.
So guys, next week at this time, we'll just be sitting here drinking coffee.
No,
Well, I guess that's what we're doing today.
I'll
I'm
be
drinking right
rushing
now.
in thinking I was late.
That's right. Because you won't want to miss it, because this show, after 4 years, is moving till noon.
4
High
years.
noon.
High noon.
So you don't want to
So,
miss that,
yeah.
because if you turn in at this time next week, you're going to be listening to a finance show.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad,
No.
but
I was
yeah.
thinking, Eric, to celebrate that, I think the first show at high noon, maybe we have some, Subway subs here or something.
you know what? That
That's
would-
what I'm
okay,
thinking.
Okay,
There
I
you
can.
go.
Yep.
Nobody
That's
will
something.
be able to understand us. Our mouths will be.
Oh, so what's new, huh?
Today, though, guys, this is a fun show because it's the NRA convention this week in Indianapolis, and is very similar to like the SHOT Show, where all these manufacturers get together. It gives an opportunity for people to go see some new products, and we're going to talk about some of those new products today. Nothing, I don't know, nothing huge, I don't think, came out of it, but there are a lot of little neat things. And when we get to that part at 1:30, one of our guys, some boots on the ground, are going to call in from the show floor and tell us his impression and how that's going. So that's going to be
Looking forward
fun.
to that. Yeah.
Before that begins, Rampart Hosting, who is not only a sponsor of the show, but a wonderful partner of us here, keeping us safe on the computer side of the things. Paul knows that also
We
well.
found that out firsthand.
Yes.
Okay.
It works.
Okay.
They're the sponsor of the Gun of the Week today. And this one, guys, this week, of course, it's my Gun of the Week, and we're only going to take 10, 15, not more than a half an hour for my Gun of the Week.
Yes.
But it is one that has some history to it. And you may be surprised to find out that I would take it any day over some of the modern guns.
Yep. Yep.
And
sure.
we looked at it before, and JC,
sure.
you saw it before too.
Yeah.
It's neat.
I was very impressed with it and wondering why they dropped it to have some of the newer stuff
right.
out there. It's just
No,
unreliable.
Because
that's what it was.
that's all the police departments have to do is think about, well, let's we've had these sidearms now for 4 years. We need new ones. So they go out and they trade in perfectly good ones, and they get brand new ones.
Right. And
Yep.
you'll be surprised that this, I don't know. This one has a lot of merit to it.
Yeah, good.
They're still floating around out there. So that's going to come up at 1:15. JC and Ronnie will bring you up to speed shortly on some news, but we also like to thank our sponsors, Rampart Hosting, Toyota West, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, the Trigger Group, Blackwing Shooting Centers, River's Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, and, of course, LAPD Training Facility. Joining me today in the LAPD studios, JC from the sales team. JC, I think I spoke to one of your doctors this week.
Really?
Yes.
Which one?
I think
The psycho doctor.
Yeah, my psychiatrist. My psychologist.
no, you've been up there to the ortho one,
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, did you get my? He's my favorite. Yeah,
Yes.
He's like I love this man. He's a great guy. No,
So
just
I had a
really
little
do, so.
procedure done up there, and
He's probably bought a few boats from you, John, right?
No, he's a great guy. Just
Okay.
terrific
Okay,
gentleman.
all right.
So,
not
yeah.
only did the procedure go well, and it's not a big
Yeah.
procedure here, but it went so well that for the first day 2 days after the procedure, I thought I got scammed because I didn't think they did anything. I mean, I felt that good. So
until it wore off, right?
No, really, it never. I mean, it was amazing. Day one, I was ready to get up and go outside. So.
They do good work up there. But yeah, he's one of my favorite doctors. Love the guy.
Hey, Ronnie from Move Move Tactical sits to my right. He's our gunsmith. Ronnie, thanks for all the help yesterday, and we must have switched 10,000 of AR parts. They were all mine.
I was looking at the notes, that you give us before the show, and you mentioned one AR, and I'm thinking, well, I remember at least 3. It's like
we had parts laid everywhere. And one of the neat things that I hadn't had personally on one of my firearms, but Ronnie's installed many over the years, was something called the Law Tactical side folding device that allows you to have a side folding stock on your AR. Kind of neat. I mean, it makes it compact for storage and so forth. So.
And I've installed several of those, and the first time I did it, it was a little bit challenging, though, because I didn't want to read the instructions and figured all you had to do is screw that thing in there.
Right.
And unfortunately, I was incorrect. But now I've got it down. If you ever get one, bring it in. We'll put it on for you while you wait.
And I had to be honest, Ronnie. I started to do it in my office.
Are you serious?
And then there was a tool I needed. And most of the time I would just go in your office, but you were in it, so I'm like, I better go ask for help. So.
Oh, man.
But it turned out great. And
dude, it looks nice.
I will have to tell you, too, the buffer tube we were looking for, I found one last night. So,
all right.
So we're back in business there as well. Papa, my father, sits to my left. Now, we're always talking about guns that we bought this week and so forth.
And I can't keep track of yours, Eric. No way.
I sold a firearm this week. I recognized that the collection was maybe swelling a little bit too much. I sold something.
You talk to me like I remember every gun you own. And then when you talk about it, you assume that I know what you're talking about. I can't keep up with what you have, Eric. That's all there is to it.
I will tell you.
I can't keep up with what I got even.
I will tell you this, and this is, I haven't talked to any of you guys about this because this happened about 20 minutes ago. I did just buy something off a gun broker, too.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that.
No, it literally just happened.
So his collection was swelling. He sold a gun. Oh, he just bought another one. Oh, it looks like it's
son of a gun,
Was it a Remington?
Huh? No. This is an old. It was an old police gun with history to it and stuff. So
cool.
That'll probably be again of the week at some point.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because we've been doing a lot of really cool stuff to the TAC-14s and stuff lately. Installing mounts for RMRs and doing all kinds of cool stuff. So if you need any of that done.
Yeah, you guys did some really neat stuff this week on those.
Well, you did that on the TAC-14?
Yeah.
So to use those, don't you have to bring it up to eye level?
Well, that's the cool thing about it. You put a little rail on there, and then your RMR is much higher than looking straight down, for the bead sight.
But you're bringing it up here, and you're shooting a shotgun.
Well, remember, too, though, that with that red dot, wherever that dot's pointing, you hit. So you don't have to get right behind it and line those sights up. All you have to do is see that dot.
And plus, it's had an arm brace on it, too, so you can shoulder it.
All right,
So, all right, guys. JC, I know you have some stories.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's get some positive stuff out there. In March was the second highest NICS checks that they've had recorded for a March. So that's really good.
Really?
I know things have, the industry's slowing down a little bit, but it's picking up. They estimate that out of that, there's probably 1 million new firearms background checks. So adding that to what's currently out there, and they've been keeping track of this since 1900. They estimate now that there's over 433 million firearms in the United States. So that's good news that it's going up. And get this, they did an industry economic impact report for 2019 was conducted by the NSSF, and what they've said, that's the National Shooting Sports Foundation. This is really amazing. In the United States, since 2008, the industry has increased from a $19.1 billion industry in 2008 to $52.1 billion in 2018. It's a 171% increase in economic impact for the firearms industry. I mean, that is good for the nation. That's good for the folks. Matter of fact, people who work in the industry, there's an 88% increase in the number of people working in the firearms industry since 2008. So think about that.
That's bad news, though, for the Democrats.
Well, yeah, that's good news then. So, okay, well, all right. So we got that going.
Can we contribute that to the prior president?
Well, the prior president, I'm certain that had a lot to do with it. But the current president, again, I mean, he is so supportive of this, and we see what the courts are doing. And now 16 states actually have constitutional carry, with several more in the pipeline that may go this route. And I think, the news media is on one side, but I think the American people are on the other side, and they just won't talk about that.
Silent majority.
So that's good. All right, another story, just in that same vein, and you gave me this one earlier today. Carry permits in the nation's capital. Remember, the Washington, D.C. wasn't giving permits to anyone. They had a total of 123 permits issued in Washington, D.C., but due to a federal court case, they changed it from the police may issue to shall issue. Well, guess what? The permits went up 1,440%.
Wow.
1,440% increase now. So even our folks in D.C., the people who actually live there, not necessarily the politicians, but the people that live there, are now able to carry. And another thing, just a last one. There's a website called Shooting the Bull. The guy is just really, really terrific in doing ammo testing. Now, this is the first time I've seen this where he said, look, a lot of people carry short-barreled 9mm. He tested most of all the popular 9mm defensive loads, not just the companies, but the loads they produced. And he shot them from 3-inch concealed carry length barrels, okay? And after going through the whole thing, he narrowed it down. He eliminated a bunch right off the bat. He fired them into two types of gel, the clear gel that we have over here, but he said that the clouded gel that is made from actually a gelled pig flesh is more consistent with the expansion. And when he shoots them side by side, one into one gel, one into the other, you see a big difference. Bottom line, let's get to it. He came down to two brands. Winchester Defend, 147 grain, in the one of our favorites, the Federal Premium HST. And he said they all perform well, but the one that actually performed best was the standard 124 grain. But he put them together, and after looking at the size of the diameters and the penetration, he chose the Winchester Defend 147 grain, had the most penetration with the largest expansion. It wasn't as large as the HST 124 standard grain, but it penetrated a lot more, a couple more inches.
Wow.
And so
that's worth going to check out that website. We might link that.
Yeah,
stuff.
you can see that. Yeah, that's great.
When we come back from the break, I'm going to have the gun of the week. I think Ronnie might have a story still.
Yeah, interesting.
We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Joel Riley and Columbus's Morning News.
Monday morning, keeping an eye on the Blue Jackets as they rumble back to Nationwide Arena. You know the Columbus housing market stays so hot, the very latest. Plus, we'll kick off Week 5. More spring green. It's cash here, 610 WTBN.
You know Diamonds Direct's prices are unbeatable every day, but this Friday through Sunday, they're even lower. This is it, the biggest store-wide sale all year. You save an extra 20% and more on rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets. Entire designer collections have been flown in for this, with each piece on sale. It doesn't get any better than this. Extraordinary selection, extreme value. It's Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar 3-day store-wide sale, Friday through Sunday at Diamonds Direct on Polaris Parkway.
What's the temp there, sir?
The air is so stale in your...
We are at 56.
Alrighty.
Don't you want fresh air for Granny's little darlings? All that dirt and...
You guys got about 50 seconds to weather.
I got it under control.
You can't always choose what gets into your car.
Block and control odors in your car with the power of Febreze and Purolator Boss Premium Cabin Air Filters. Find your retailer at pureoil.com.
Do you know about Febreze, dear? At House of Your smells like a thrift store.
Spring into savings with Specialty RV during their spring cleaning closeout sale, where you can get a great 2019 Grey Wolf bunkhouse, which sleeps 8 for as low as $165 a month, just in time for camping season. SpecialtyRVsales.com. Specialty RV. We sell and rent family fun.
LawnDoctor.com for a lush green lawn with no bald spots or weeds. Woody here. I used to have...
All right, coming at you in 10.
Yard looking like fairway number 7? Call 1-800-LawnDoctor. LawnDoctor.com.
Dream Kitchens starting under $10,000. Visit PolarisCabinets.com.
Your ABC6 first warning weather for today, a mix of sun and clouds. Chilly. Rain moves in late in the day, high of 59. For tonight, scattered showers are likely, low of 43. For your Sunday, a stray shower early on, then dry, breezy, and a little bit chilly, though, high of 58. It is currently 56 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
News, weather, and traffic for Columbus. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric. Is there a little delay in that, Ronnie? Did you see? Are you watching that?
Here it is. Here it is.
Did you get that second refrain? That's why I think that's why Jim kind of faded it out.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
If you're watching on Facebook, well, first of all, we're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the LEPD studios. That's at 999 Bethel Road. If you're out there on Facebook, it's a great place to watch it because you get to see bonus footage. You get to see the gun of the week before the gun of the week, and right there you saw Paul and the lead into that. But it is really neat. You get to see some of the stuff we're talking about firsthand, and it stays out there on Facebook, so you can go back later and see it. You can also check it out on YouTube after the show. Podcasts are also out there on Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio. I mean, everywhere. We're almost everywhere, Facebook, John. You know, and then you can always catch us at OnTarget at lepd.com. If you have a question throughout the week, if you have a gun of the week you want us to do, we're always open to doing that too.
We've got some great ones in the past. So yeah, if you got something you want to bring up, bring it up.
Absolutely, Ronnie. You got about a minute here for a piece of news. What do you got?
Good. I got one big one, one real short, quick one. I'm so excited.
And on to the next thing.
All right. There's your minute.
You know that during the previous administration, and I don't even like to say the guy's name, he passed the arms treaty with a bunch of other nations, and that actually gave those nations control over our Second Amendment rights, our purchasing and selling firearms and things like that. To put it in a nutshell, well. President Trump said at the NRA meeting, we will never allow foreign bureaucrats to trample on your Second Amendment freedom. Trump tells the NRA he is pulling out of the International Gun Trade Treaty signed by Obama.
That is huge because when that happened,
that's a United Nations big deal.
It was.
It was never ratified by the Senate, but it was out there, and this is huge, like you said. This is huge. Yeah.
And then the one other thing I had was that, and John had it as a news story, but didn't get to it, and one of our guys watching on Facebook mentioned it, is that Trigicon just released their SRO, which is a new.
You're not waiting until
this is our topic today. So that's why I didn't get to it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Right. This is our topic today.
It's nice if we communicate this stuff. So okay.
Okay. Now
I do have a brief thing. A customer came in. This may happen to you. He had one of the new Glock 19Xs. Okay, that's a model with a short barrel, but the 17. But his magazine wouldn't work, and it turns out that all the magazines will work in the 19X except the Gen 5 magazines due to the plate. So if you happen to have a 19X, all the Glock magazines will work, but Gen 5 magazines will not work in your gun because of the floor plate. If you change out the floor plate,
then they'll work.
Yeah, right. But just so you know that. So he had a problem, and we figured it out. So there you go.
All right, Eric. Wow, are you running the show, Eric?
I get like 45 seconds for the gun of the week.
Yeah, that's about it.
I see how you guys feel now. So, guys, it's my time for the gun of the week, and I went downstairs. Actually, I didn't know what I was going to choose, and I went downstairs last night. It's about 12:30, and I opened up the vault, and I thought, what is something in here that's unique that we haven't done before? And I immediately, this popped into my brain. I thought, what a classic gun. Today's gun of the week is a Smith & Wesson 4586. So probably the more popular one at the time was the 4506.
And they're probably saying, what's an 86?
Well, the 06 was, I believe, a 5-inch barrel, and it was a big gun, 45 caliber, obviously. Only holds 8+1 round, but it was the standard duty issued weapon for Columbus Police for years.
And I think it had a square trigger guard.
Some of them did. Yeah. Right. So that kind of evolved over time into a 4-inch barrel gun, and then Dad and I, and this was actually Dad's duty gun, we purchased them in double action only. because it gave you more of a consistent trigger pull. And actually, for some of the guys who've been in law enforcement for a while, it was an easier transition outside of the revolvers who had that double action every time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it didn't, there was always a concern in a traditional double single action that after you fire the gun, if the threat's over and you go to put it back in your holster, that hammer was back. You had to consciously think, I need to decock it. So the double action only, which was the 86 part of the 45-86, lent itself to that. So these were our duty guns for a number of years. It looks like it's new out of the box.
There's nothing wrong with that, and why you switch, I have no idea.
Well, and it's funny because we started to, I started to kind of peel back everything, and it truly is. There is some advantages to the modern gun. I mean, it has a nice feel and weight to it.
Absolutely.
The trigger
Weight.
on this, Ronnie, check out the trigger on this. Now, this isn't a striker fire. This is a traditional double action only. There is nothing wrong with that trigger.
Phil, I'm going to check out the trigger. Oh, yeah, that feels good.
In all seriousness, I mean, it's as light as some striker fired. Yeah, I mean, we're getting some.
Have you done
it's
something
amazing.
to this, or is it just
No, that was how the triggers were.
I mean, it is not bad.
I could get off a
all.
good first shot. Well, every shot would
Every
be.
shot. And so it does have a hammer, but there's no hammer spur because it's double action only.
Yeah.
And there's no decocker. It doesn't need it because the
Doesn't
hammer's
need
always down. So this is a fabulous gun. I really
And
haven't
look at the
seen
hole in the end of it.
Yeah,
My
that's a
goodness.
45. So, get your attention right off the bat.
And that at the time, I never, some of these things, we sit around too much, I think, and think about it. I never worried about not having enough rounds. I mean, you had 9 rounds here. You carried an extra few mags on your belt.
Yep.
So you had, 24 rounds, something to that effect, 25 rounds. 45, I didn't worry about that, and you never heard of a case where you ran out of all the rounds.
And it's heavy stainless steel. If you ran out of rounds, you drop it under their foot and they're crippled for life.
Okay,
so it's a heavy gun.
After
but I love it.
5 or 6 years, you guys have been hammering me about magazine capacity.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Now you admit that, yeah.
Oh, that's a great trigger pull.
It is
right
nice.
out of the box.
And there was nothing we did to that,
Wow.
Did I give this to you, or is this mine? I gave it to you. I know. I gave it to you.
So there you have it,
is
the gun of
nice.
the week, Smith & Wesson 4586, part of the third-gen Smiths, those stainless ones. Same family as the 5906, which we love. The 9mm version, obviously. But stop by and see it. We'll have it here for a couple days to check out. Yeah. And so that's it, guys. When we come back, we're going to talk about the NRA show, some of the new products. And Ronnie's going to tell you about the new Trigicon. And
no, John is.
We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, it's Mark Blazer. Meet Denise. Like someone I love very much, she suffers from sleep apnea.
I would wake up in the morning feeling very tired, like I hadn't slept at all. I would wake up every morning with a headache. That feeling basically lasted all day.
It can really take a toll.
I was struggling at work. I'm too tired to do anything at home once I got home. And I didn't know where my life was going.
How were you feeling?
I was desperate at that point.
After trying many different options, you discovered Inspire, a sleep apnea solution and alternative to CPAP. How has life been since Inspire?
Things are great. I feel brighter all day.
What's the biggest change you've seen?
I can go to the movies, I can watch a movie on TV, and I see the beginning, middle, and end.
Seems like such a small thing, but sounds like it's made a big impact.
My life is great. Life is just great.
To learn how you can treat sleep apnea without a mask, like
everything
Denise
all
does,
good
and
there,
review
sir?
Important safety information.
Yes, sir. I'll just be waiting. You said about 1:40. Someone's calling.
Yeah, he might be a few minutes early. Just send me the message, and I'll lead into him and stuff.
Yep,
But
I
that's
think
it.
He's calling right now.
All right.
WTVN.
Ohio First Lady Fran DeWine spoke at the Ohioana Book Festival at the Columbus Metropolitan Library's main library today. The festival featuring 150 authors, writers, and illustrators from every region in the Buckeye States. Kansas State's Board of Trustees to hold a special meeting Monday believed to be related to its search for a new president. And the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America says seasonal allergies are hitting residents.
Alrighty, I got your caller on hold.
Clinic says high pollen counts mean that even taking the dog for a walk can result in the sniffles.
If you've got pets, they're covered in the pollen. So once you bring them in and you're hugging on them, you're definitely going to have that. And if they sleep with you, you're bringing a tree into your home.
The pollen count in the area expected to be high throughout the weekend. I'm Kyle Cornell.
At Strader's Garden Centers, we believe in the old an ounce of prevention saying.
An application of Bayer's grub control with turf revitalizer will take care of grubs all season long. Grubs can really do harm to your lawn and garden. Grubs also attract skunks and other pests. With Bayer Grub Control with Turf Revitalizer, you'll also promote strong root growth and thick turf. This weekend at Strader's Garden Centers, Bayer's Grub Control is on sale at just $18.99. Plus, you'll get a free bag of Bayer's Fungus Control for lawns. Fungus Control cures and prevents common lawn diseases like brown patch, dullard spots, and much, much more. See all the spring specials on Strader's website at straders.net. Then, come to Strader's Garden Centers.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios with Ronnie, who makes up Boom Boom Tactical. He is the gunsmith. JC from the sales team sits to my right. My father is off camera, off mic, drinking coffee.
Talking to customers.
I think he took
wandering around.
I think he took that gun back that he gave me.
I don't see it anymore.
Really? Where did it go?
He did head out to his car, so maybe that's where that is.
I'll tell you what. So, guys, NRA show is going on now. Very similar to the SHOT Show in that it's a time when a lot of manufacturers like to introduce new products, and people get to go around and see some, not just new products from existing manufacturers, but also new manufacturers altogether. So it's a time for them to showcase their products, regardless as to what it is, as long as it fits into the realm of the firearms industry. So we thought it would be good to go through some of these items, these new ones. But before that, we actually have a man on the street. Right there in Indy, one of our employees had an all-expense-paid trip to go there.
Yeah. He paid it himself.
He paid it himself.
We paid for it. He paid for it.
No, he paid for it.
He paid for it.
Okay.
But it was all expense paid by him.
That is right. You may have seen him here at the store working behind the counter. You may recognize him from our Facebook Thursday Throwback Day, and JC says that Deb watches it.
Yeah, she watches it. She doesn't. I don't think she listens to me as much, but she watches him. So she said he's got a great great show.
He's
so
out there.
You go.
So we welcome Mike to the program. Mike, are you still out there in Indy?
Yeah, Eric, I'm still out here, overwhelmed and out here.
Are you? So how many things can you not live without?
Well, I've bought several things. Of course, you can't buy firearms, but they have probably every imaginable accessory, clothing, you name it, it is here. My head is spinning, and I'm happy when I'm in the store, but I am ecstatic being here at the show.
Well, and Mike, you've been there for a couple of days. This isn't just an out-and-back thing, correct?
Right. I don't know how anybody could do it in just one day. I went down to Louisville about 3 years ago, and this one, I thought that was big. This one is a lot bigger.
Wow. Are you seeing, I mean, obviously you're seeing a lot of the brands that we know, but you mentioned earlier to me that there's a lot of brands out there that you didn't even know existed, or they're new and up-and-coming brands. Is there some neat things in that regard?
Yeah, in fact, you're right. I've seen everything, but I just stopped and got a demo of a digital sight that is like nothing I've ever seen. I know digital sights have been out for a while, but this thing is incredible. You dial in what ammo you're using, the weight of your bullet. It's got a ballistic calculator. You're looking at a TV screen, dialing in things. It's infrared if you want it. It's night vision if you want it. It's around $1,000. I don't know how anything stands a chance against this. What? It's unbelievable.
Did you buy one, and can you mention it on air if you did?
I did not. They're not available yet. The guy is saying, yeah, they're going to be about $1,200, but if you go, when we introduce them, we're going to try to keep the price under $1,000. So I'm like, okay. I picked up a pamphlet just so I could look at it.
Wow. Mike, too, we were joking earlier about, the NRA convention, is it a bunch of guys in pickup trucks and so forth? What is the clientele on it. I mean, what kind of people do you see at this convention?
I have seen people from 5 years old up to obviously in their 80s. They seem to be professionals. About 40%, if not more, are females here.
All
And
right.
Really?
Excellent.
That's people attending and people selling, vendors. You know, the vendors have displays bigger than our store and shooting range put together, down to just like a 15 by 15 booth. It's amazing.
Wow. Anything really stand out that we're going to need to order when you get back?
I picked up a few books, and so I'll go over those.
All right. We will expect actually Tuesday when you come back. We'll when we see you here at the store, we'll expect a full report on stuff that we need that we can't live without.
Yep.
Good. You know, I know the people listening to the radio show are enthusiasts, or they wouldn't be listening. And I got to tell you, so everybody should attend at least one of these. They're just amazing. And I hear not next year it's going to be in Nashville, but I hear that beyond that, just like 2 or 3 years, there's going to be back in Louisville and back here in Indy. So people ought to take the time to come over for at least one day. You'll only get through half the show at best, but it's just amazing.
Great. Well, you know what? We should take this on the road, guys. Go broadcast.
We've said that for years.
Twist my arm and make me.
I know.
but it'll be all expense paid by us. See, that's the problem. So there you go. So,
well, Mike, thank you so much for calling in and giving us some insight on what's going on there in Indy. And we will see you back here. Safe travels on your way back home.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Eric.
All right. We'll talk to you later. That's Mike. He one of our great employees here at the store, and also the guy who does the Throwback Thursday videos, all kinds of neat stuff. So
Thursdays.
I know, Eric, we should have locked the doors. You know, people walk in, and by surprise, one of the owners walked into our store.
Wow.
One of the owners, and she happens to be right here with the headset on too.
Wow. Do we dare turn on the mic?
Well, I don't know.
We're not going to hear it if we do, because it's all the way up.
So wait, if Mom is here watching it, is there anyone else out there listening?
That means we don't have anybody watching,
Yeah,
except for our three normal guys, Matthew, Jeffrey.
Right.
Well, now we probably have Jackie and Randy
go.
from Texas.
From Texas, yeah.
Shirley's even listening today.
Wow.
Yep.
Surely you don't mean
So,
Shirley.
so guys, you know, Mike gave us a little insight on some of the things out there. We went through, and JC, I know you looked at some things. Tell us about a few of the things that were introduced this week at the NRA show.
All right. Well, we'll say the SRO for Ronnie here, but there's some new products out there, as you would expect. Most stuff hits at the big show in January, but this is the NRA show, man. People save stuff for this. So SIG had a couple of things that are very interesting. Number one, you know, the 9mm was always considered the most accurate 9mm ever made was the SIG P210. Well, they're reintroducing this. They had it in a Target configuration, but now they're reintroducing this year. It's new in the standard fixed sight, or the adjustable sight. Got 3 dots on it, front serration, but it was always considered the most accurate of any of the 9mm. So that's really, really pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing one of those.
John, is that a single action firearm?
Yes. It's
okay, that's what I thought.
For single action aficionados, if you're a single action fan, this is like the 9mm to have. It really is. Another thing, they call it a big release. I didn't think it was that big because it's the coloration in the pot. But there's a flat, dark earth version of the SIG 365. So it's a very, very popular new carry gun, of course, that 10+1 round or 11 round mag. But now it's in flat, dark earth. The thing I thought was pretty interesting is they've come out with a modular suppressor. So what am I talking about there? Well, they have it's called the Mod 9X, or X9, pardon me, and the Mod X45. But what you can do is change the length. Just the baffles are in segments, so if you need more suppression, you can have longer suppressor, or if you needed to shorten it up for maybe a more of a handgun and something that fits in there, you can just basically take a wrench and unscrew the different segments and actually customize the length of the overall length.
And we're seeing that there's some other, I think, Silencer Co., a couple of the other manufacturers have started to do that, have a modular effect.
Modular,
yeah.
so they can make that work. But that's actually kind of a pretty cool thing. So Yeah.
Well, and they also, and I think they announced this at SHOT Show, but they've re-announced or rediscussed the SIG 365 with the manual safety. Still haven't seen them in production yet.
Yeah,
but,
we haven't seen those yet, but a lot of people do like an extra, the manual safety.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then, Ronnie, the SRO, which is kind of big news, I think. So,
yeah, it is kind of big news, but and it has phenomenal capabilities and stuff. But this seems like something more like what I would put on my, my shotgun or my TAC-14 or Shockwave or something like that. It's kind of big for a handgun.
It does have a bigger hood to it, I think they said.
And I guess we should say this is Trigicon, the company Trigicon. They call it the SRO, the Specialized Reflex Optic. So they said it's specifically designed for pistols. And then right below in their own thing, they said, hey, it's really great on a rifle or a target pistol. One of the reasons we say that, and that's why I think it wouldn't be that good for a shotgun personally, is because the dot is a 1 MOA.
Right.
Most things are in the 3-4 range for coverage. In a shotgun, you need big coverage, easier to pick up. But 1 MOA, I mean, that's 1 inch at 100 yards. So this is a fine, small dot. So for precision shooting, this would be good. But it's round versus the standard with and we use the term RMR, kind of like you say Kleenex. It could be a Puffs, it could be a Northern, but we call it Kleenex. Well, RMR, which is Trigicon's own ruggedized miniature reflex sight, but we seem to call everything RMR, even though that's specifically for Trigicon. But this setting, it's a little different. But the good things about it, I mean, when you have one of these, they've made some great advantages. They said the people that have looked at this said you can pick it up at almost any angle. When they pick it up, they said it is there. You don't have to keep adjusting your head to keep that dot in. That the design of it is, they said, just really incredible. The other thing that they said is that the battery will last. It has 8 brightness settings, and on setting 4, the middle setting, the battery lasts for 3 years just on a single CR 2032 battery, which we have tons of here.
And that's the one really good thing about it, that Trigicon and their stuff, is that any of these other manufacturers and stuff, you don't get much life out of the battery in their reflex sights. But with that, so you can leave that on. If you're at home and somebody breaks in your house, you don't have to fumble to turn on the light. It's always on.
You just have to get calendars a couple years down the road to remind you to change the battery.
It's got some really neat features. I mean, you change the battery from the top, so that might
you have to take it off to do it.
Cut a little workout for me, because these guys are always stripping off their bolts and stuff, and I have to
and it fits on any of the optic ready.
And they've got lockouts for the buttons, and they've got a lot of really cool.
It's waterproof
features.
down. As one place said it was 30, but the other one said it was down 10 feet. But
yeah,
in any case, it's
here it says 10 feet or 3
so
meters.
10 feet. So that's, I mean, so at least the range not going to knock you out of action. I know what you didn't like is it's bigger because it's a round screen versus the smaller rectangular. But when you look at some of the pictures side by side, it is easier to pick up. But once again, folks, this is a 1 MOA, and that seems to be all that they have right now. We have a lot of people coming here and go, gee, I don't want to cover up this big target for target shooting. You know,
I
it's
would
great
imagine
for
that's
defense,
going to change, and they're going to have
I
different
agree.
MOA dots.
Right.
Yeah.
So, guys, before we go into break here,
cool.
I will give the update on what Glock released as new. Try to stay awake for this. The Glock 45 in MOS.
Oh, pardon me. I dropped
off.
What? That's phenomenal. The 45 and MOS?
Put MOS on anything.
Maybe they'll come out with it in Flat Dark Earth.
But you know what? The actual 19 MOS is better because the front is contoured and the 45 isn't.
We come back for the break. We'll talk about some of the other new products that have come out from Spear, some new ammo, and also Veridian has something else, and of course my favorite, Streamlight. We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
When the weather.
Any music requests for the next song?
610 WTVN.
What's happening at Diamonds Direct this weekend is off the charts. 3 days of spectacular savings store-wide. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, colored gemstones. This is incredible. You save an extra 20% and more at this once-a-year event. And the selection at Diamonds Direct is bigger than ever. Top designers have flown in their entire collections all on sale. The newest styles, plus thousands of engagement rings and wedding bands. Best prices of the year. Friday through Sunday only, and only at Diamonds Direct.
On Polaris Parkway. So many reasons that Pella Windows and Doors is the most trusted window brand in Central Ohio. I mean, people trust the best. And Pella, bam, right there. And they've done it again with an incredible offer. 50% off installation or 0% financing for 48 months. You know that in-home installation?
They're back in about 20 seconds.
I copy.
And the installers, when they leave, your home is cleaned up neat as a pin. Give them a call, 877-98-PELLA, or shop them online, PellaColumbus.com. Winning Retirement Radio, Sundays at 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. on 610 WTVN.
Here at VC6, first warning weather for today, a mix of sun and clouds, chilly. The rain moves in late in the day, high of 59. For tonight, scattered showers are likely. It's going to get down to 43. For Sunday, the stray showers are there early. Then it's going to get dry, breezy, and still a little bit chilly, though. High of 58. It is currently 56 degrees on your severe weather station, News Radio 610 WTVN.
Columbus's News Radio 610 WTVN.
I like it.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric.
Oh, man.
Joined today in the LEPD studios.
We're going to keep Jim around, okay? We're going to keep Jim around.
Hotel California.
We're broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD. It's at 999 Bethel Road, talking about the new items released at the NRA show. We got the ball game on the phone here. My mom's in the house. What more could you want today?
The sun to come back out.
Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
speaking of sun, my son's team was down 7-5. Waterson's down 7-5 against Columbus Academy.
Oh, wow.
Luke was up. Guy on second and third, double.
All right.
So, yes, we're seeing that.
All right.
And then when I'm there, he never does this stuff. When I'm watching, he never does that.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay.
So, guys, some more products that came out at the NRA show that are a possible must coming down the pike. Let me talk to you for a second about Streamlight.
Okay.
Having a light in your life is something that's important. But they came out with a couple of neat things. The TLR Racker 850.
The Racker.
Oh, yeah.
850. Oh, yeah.
This is a four-end that goes on the Remington 870, Mossberg 590, or Mossberg 500. It looks like it's the same one for all, and it's 850 lumens.
Wow.
It looks nice and integrated in versus some prior ones. What do you think of that, Arnie?
I like it. It's compact. It's not this giant, gargantuan, bulbous attachment on your firearm.
Exactly.
I like
850 lumens.
Now, that's bright.
Right on the end of your shotgun, and you don't have to add it. You just change out that forearm grip.
So can you imagine that on a Shockwave? Before we get to our caller who called in here, one other thing they came out with, Mom, Dad, since you're here in the house, my birthday's right around the corner. We're talking just merely days away. Streamlight came out with a portable scene light, like for an accident scene. 10,000 lumens.
10,000 lumens.
About $600. And then it is going to be able, yeah, it is a little pricey.
Yeah.
So, guys, let's go right to our caller, Tony. Tony, you're on with On Target. How are you, sir?
Hey, thanks, guys. I just had a quick question. I bought a 40 caliber Glock, I don't know, 6 years ago. I was wondering, does that have a lot more stopping power than the 9mm?
I think so, yeah. And I think the big problem that most people have with the 40 caliber nowadays is your follow-up shots and your shot placement. But yeah, I think the 40 has definitely got more stopping power.
I think so. I think if you have the same ammo, same type side by side, I think you do gain a little bit from the 40. It's just the downside has always been the felt
recoil.
Yeah,
right.
It's extremely snappy. I hear that.
Yeah,
and
a lot of pressure.
Kind of shocky pressure, and like first shot's always on, and then it takes longer to recover to get to those second shots. That's why the FBI kind of switched over to the 9mm so they could have quicker follow-up shots and more small holes versus one larger hole.
Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, so even though I'm using hollow points, that's the most effective close range, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, and you want to use the hollow points too because they'll end up in your subject, not in the wall and then in your kid's bedroom or something.
It's more than you want to use those. Don't use range ammunition for defending yourself. It's just much too penetration.
But
all the energy.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Tony. Thanks for calling in. Guys, it's probably worth saying that the 40 has in the recent couple years I don't want to say taken a bad rap, but it's all cyclic. At some point it's the 45 is the end all be all, and now that it's gone back to the 9, and a lot of these departments are switching back to it. CPD's doing it.
And with a lot of the with a lot of the design of the newer firearms, they're designing them better to absorb some of that recoil. So the 40,
it's still a viable weapon.
Yeah.
And if you're a person who likes the 40, now's the time to buy them because stores like us, we're getting flooded with them. And so consequently, that means we're paying less for them. The prices are going down.
Yeah.
And the ammo prices have come down on them.
Yeah.
So if that is something that you've liked, it might not be a bad time to get the 40. Couple other things before we go out here. Viridian is coming out with a neat kind of a light combo called the X5L Gen 3. It's a nice light that goes underneath on the rail of the gun. Has an HD camera built in.
An HD camera? Wow.
Yes.
How about
so
that?
you can tell the perpetrator to smile before they see the flash.
I am holding out for the one that comes out with a cup holder.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Spear has also come out with a new line of ammo. It's getting a lot of good attention called the G2. It's almost like the Gold Dot 2.0.
Bless you.
Bless you.
And we're back.
All right. There you go. That was a double barrel there.
Double barrel.
Right.
Yeah. Forget the mom standing right next to you.
That's the
all
beauty of live radio. You never know what you're going to get. That was a bonus.
Yes, it was.
I don't know where that
my
came
shirt.
from.
I can see it now.
So the G2 is supposed to be something that's going to compete with the HST and everything else. So it looks like it's a viable option coming down the pike. Guys, we have about 1.5 minutes left. I got 3 things sitting in front of me. One, Popo, you have some gloves that just came in here that are kind of neat.
Ooh. The thin blue line. And this, of course, Eric, you always had a glove fetish.
Like gloves?
Like
flashlights, firearms.
Yeah. These are kind of neat. And I, not that I would wear them for law enforcement now, but it might work well with my woodworking,
You'd look pretty cool walking
They're
around.
nice. They're
shop.
just
yeah,
fancy.
but
I'm actually
there.
surprised at the number of people that don't wear shooting gloves because it can be tough on you on the range, and they work.
One other thing, JC, we got in a new A-Zoom.
Cool. Yeah, A-Zoom, who makes the premium snap caps. Now they make something called a striker cap. We know how when you have snap caps on a gun and then you go to reset it and you pull it back and it extracts the cap and it throws it on the floor and it's kind of a pain. Now they have striker caps that actually stay in the chamber that you can put in. What they've done is they've taken their striker their cap and they have rebaited the rim so your extractor doesn't catch it. And they also put an O-ring on there to make it stay in the chamber. It's real small. It's not going to stay in for long, but it looks like it's very easy. And with the rebaited, you can just reach in with your fingernails, pull it right out. So it will stay in while you reset. You don't have to go chase standard caps around. So
now,
the striker cap.
Us gunsmiths won't like that because we can't test extraction or ejection.
Right.
Well, you just use the old ones then, right?
All right.
Yeah, you can use the old ones. That's a good idea.
So, guys, last thing, come in and check this out. Aguila has come out with a 22 hollow point, super maximum hollow point. It is I believe, a 30 grain at 1,700 feet per second on a 22.
22 long rifle.
That's right.
We need to test some
That's
of
not
those.
the Magnum.
Yeah.
There you go. Guys, next week, noon. It is not the same time, same place. It is at noon next week. We'll be coming to you live from LAPD Firearms and Range.
High noon.
High noon. Don't miss it. Have a great week. Be safe out there.
Call me so I get up in time to come in.
I will.
Yeah,
we will.
Right. Wake up call.
Wake up call
wake
for
up
Ronnie.
call.
Okay.
All right. Go Eagles.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, Elk and Elk, working for every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Spring has arrived, and Kurtz Brothers has a special opportunity for In the Garden listeners like you. Take 25% off your spring order of bulk or bagged mulch, soil, and leaf compost with us. That's right. We want to extend this special
You want to do commercials here in a sec?
coupon to you. Visit Kate.
Yep, I'm getting it ready right now.
All right. Just yell to me. I'm here.
25.com. Call 614-43-MULCH or visit our Dublin, Westerville, or Frank Road locations and mention this special offer. Kurtz Brothers, we want to make...
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, one more second. Here, JC, look at this. Okay, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week. Oh, let's try this one more time. Let me turn my sound down here. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time, noon on Saturday, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by LAPD Training Facility, and we'll get you caught up on the latest firearms news. Saturday at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time at noon on Saturday, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by LAPD Training Facility, and we'll get you caught up on all the latest firearms industry news. Tomorrow at noon, tune in. You know what? Let's do that one again. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time, noon on Saturday, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by LAPD Training Facility, and we'll get you caught up on all the latest firearm news. Tomorrow at noon, or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time, 12 noon, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by LAPD Training Facility, and we'll get you caught up on all the latest firearms noon. Jeez. Okay, one more time. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time, 12 noon, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will get you caught up on the latest fire... Jeezy Pete. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, tune in to our new time, 12 noon, right here on 610 WTVN. Papa will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by LAPD Training Facility, and we'll get you caught up on all the latest firearms industry news. Right here at noon, or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road.
All righty, I got him.
All right, sir. Hey, thanks for all your help.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, see you. Bye.
See ya.